have the end of the year banquet. As soon as the playoff teams are decided, we have our little get together and we have fun and we finish off everything and there's no animosity or anything. And then no one shows up but you?
Huh? Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Islanders roll call. Have you heard from anybody?
Yeah, all of them, actually.
And?
Oh, right, okay, well, the Rangers are at the hospital, something about a Tom Wilson incident, and the Capitals are meeting with the league, something about a non-Tom Wilson related incident, so, you know.
Okay, well, Tom Wilson's getting suspended again.
Well, Philly hasn't moved since Carter Hart went down with an MCL sprain. He's been staring at a wall for a few weeks.
We should really get them a gift basket or something. I've got a Brick's Wine Shop gift card I've been meaning to use. I can just throw that in there.
Let's see. Pittsburgh is working on their smear campaign for McDavid. I don't think they're taking the passing of the torch from Crosby to McDavid super well. And New Jersey, they said, and I quote, "I just don't like you guys that much."
Ooh. Honestly, that's the best excuse so far.
And Buffalo just said they wouldn't be in the same room as a thief. They accused you of stealing their good players and ruining their season. No. They just didn't want to get bullied. Low-quality fans of a high-quality Bruins team, that is a dub. And not only is that a dubberoni and cheese, that is a dubberoni and cheese in which we also clinch the playoffs. That's like a dubberoni and cheese with extra cheese. Maybe a little bacon on there, a little salt and pepper. Maybe you kind of felt like spicing it up, so you grab some honey glazed ham from the supermarket, Stop and Shop, you know what I'm talking about. And once you're done baking the ham, you take that honey glazed juices at the bottom and you just slightly pour it over the mac and cheese, set it up next to the ham on the plate so you get that little sweetness on the dubberoni and cheese. Oh, yeah, baby! There was a time, you may remember, I believe it was Game 13 episode, which I said the playoffs are a foregone conclusion. I almost just torpedoed our season right there because we went on a massive slump. We actually got to the point where we went, wow, as recently as 2 weeks ago, maybe we really don't make the playoffs. Things don't look too good, but here we are. And not only are we in the playoffs, we're third in the division at the moment, potentially working towards home ice advantage. Not only that, but we're the hottest team in the division at the moment. I always do this thing where sometimes I say stuff at the beginning of the video rather than the end of the video, even though it's kind of a game note, but whatever, we're going to say it now. We have outscored our opposition since the trade deadline 44 goals to 16 goals. That's pretty good! Are we that good? Is that a fair assessment of how good the team is? No, it's not. Unfortunately. One of those games against the Devils, obviously. 5 of those games against Buffalo. There's little asterisks next to the play since the deadline. But couple games against the Islanders, game against the Penguins, couple games against the Penguins. We're not a bad team. We may not be as good as this recent stretch shows, but we're not far off from it. More often than not, you can look at a team's recent stretch of play and we're like, yeah, it's somewhere in the middle. Are they as good or bad as that stretch? Probably not. And that's not to be negative. Because if we are a couple pegs down from what we've shown, we're still a really good team. Really good team. We've got 3 lines that you can roll out and really go for it. And the third line has been looking better. Not great, but better. But the first, second, and fourth have been really fun to watch. Lazar just changes. As long as Lazar is centering that fourth line is going to be interesting. Rask gets to start in net. We need 1 point to clinch, which we very much take care of. Miller will play. Carlo likely to play in his spot on Tuesday. He being Bruce, decided he didn't want to put them both at the same time because they both need to be eased in. Miller because of maintenance issues with his long-term injury issues, and then Carlo obviously coming back from the injury. But he is likely to start on Tuesday. Riley had a maintenance issue. He has some sort of nagging injury. I'm not sure specifically what it is. But Riley had a maintenance issue, so he actually skipped this game, likely to play Tuesday. Again, none of that is confirmed. The morning skates will decide a lot of that, but that's the way we're looking right now. Zaboral will take Riley's place in Monday's game, and he showed me something a little different this time. We'll get there. Still no word on Kasha. The longer we go without, I know he's skating, but the longer we go without him actually having time on the ice with the team, contact, it's just not going to work this season. And we already knew that it would be a miracle if he did come back. But he needs a couple games before the playoffs. You cannot slot a guy in with head injury past. I worded that weirdly. But with a head injury past, you can't throw him into the playoffs after a season of non-play. It's just way too risky to the guy's health. Like, throw away all of the objective stuff with the team, right? Obviously, our goal is the cup. It's cup or bust, guys. It's cup or bust. Kasha needs to worry about his health first. And some of your responses may be, well, then he should stop playing the game. And honestly, not in a rude way, that's kind of fair. Because you really worry about a guy with head injuries like that. But more than anything, you can't get tossed into the playoff scenario, rough, tough, banging bodies, the rule book changes, all of that. You can't throw him into that when he is not at 100% speed. I feel like I'm starting this video out as a bummer. This is a fun video. It's supposed to be fun. DeBrusk, as expected, does get another game. I said that last video where I went, he'll probably get one or two more. We'll see, because he did have a very, very poor showing. But two things here. Better game. 4 shots on goal, good for second on the team. He was playing with a little more fire. I still didn't see enough of the second chance stuff, but it was an improvement. And a very, very good point was brought up in the comments for the last video. A couple of you actually brought it up. The human element to this. We got to remember that some of these guys just are not handling the isolation well of COVID. We all get guilty of jumping on players and being highly critical. And of course, with my videos, I'm going to be critical of these guys at times. And I think the criticism to DeBrusk is fair, but there's a line to draw. And so he does have next season. It's very possible he gets moved for cap reasons. He's making over $3.5 a year, so it's possible he gets moved in the offseason. But if not, he should get the benefit of the doubt for a clean slate next year. Thank you to those who pointed it out in the comments. It was a great point because mental health is important and these guys are dealing with a lot. Game starts, and I gotta say, this was a foreboding message to the Devils right away. It just looked like things were not going to go their way. 18 seconds in, Miles Wood, he takes an awkward little tumble, comes up lame. He would stay in the game, but very clearly some sort of injury, something nagging throughout, and he did really lose a step. I didn't think he had the same explosiveness we've seen over the season. This whole first period, I don't even have to break it down. It's all bees. We're just careening at them over and over and over again. They can't get the puck out of their zone. Our transition game looks amazing. A ton of pressure. We have shoot them 17-4. Midway through the period, we outchanced them 10-2 and outshot them 12-0. Problem is, the period ends 0-0. And what a typical Devils game, right? We absolutely dominate the first period. We come out with a tie. And you know the second period, you're like, here we go. They're going to get the first goal. There's no way they don't. There's no way they don't. But it turns out I'm dumb because they do. 4 minutes in, now this isn't the goal, but 4 minutes in, Kuhlman with his forecheck creates some really nice pressure, giving DeBrusk a full breakaway. He can't finish, but it was a nice little play by Kuhlman. Kuhlman should have this spot until he plays himself out of it. Him on the fourth line, I really, really enjoying right now. I know his stats aren't fancy. I know he doesn't have a ton of points. Again, the fourth line is about effort. It's about annoyance, and it's about keeping the puck in the offensive zone. So when you do that man-by-man bench switch bullshit, Bergeron's coming into the offensive zone and someone can feed him the puck for a little snipe. And then finally, on the 26th shot of the game, 9 minutes into the second, Jesus, we have a really nice transition. Coyle brings the puck in, drops the puck for Corrali. Corrali looks around, doesn't have much, drops it to Zaboral. Zaboral, nice heads-up play and an even better pass. Flings it right to Richie on the right circle. Richie one-times it, and I haven't seen this kind of finish from Richie. That was a really nice low glove shot. It beats Wedgwood, and that is 1-0, 26th shot of the game. And Richie gets another one, and Richie just tasting that 7th player at this point. The Devils do push back, but they're not really getting any shots to the net, and then 2 minutes left in the period, and this is such an underrated play by Pasta. People are talking about the movement of Marshy and Bergie down by the net. Pasta receives a pass in the neutral zone. It gets away from him a bit, just a bit. And he goes to reach for it. And Murray of the Devils is coming up. Pasta fake punches it in. He goes to reach with enough force that you think he's just going to flick it into the zone. Murray turns his back, preparing to chase, but he turns his back too early. Pasta sees this. He corrals the puck and just a burst of speed to the right goes right around Murray. Oh, it was a thing of beauty. That is that keep your heads up mentality. You don't have to fully commit all the time to your first motion. And that is something Pasta is really good at. Then it gets even crazier. Pasta takes the shot, low blocker, Wedgwood kicks it out. Nice save by Wedgwood right there. But it goes right to Marshy. Marshy can't collect it cleanly, so he spins and then feeds it to Bergie in the slot. Bergie can't collect it cleanly. So what happens there? He decides to embarrass Murray more. And with a standing deke, he's standing still, Murray's right in front of him. Little inside, outside, Murray bites to the inside. It opens up a pass to Marshy on the right. Marshy, who's sitting at the bottom of the right circle, gets the puck, doesn't have a great angle, and doesn't want to take the shot, so he moves underneath the net. And Bergie doesn't go anywhere. He's just like, hey, they're giving me space here. I'll stay here. And they're not a lot of space. But you know Marshy can find him. It's a beautiful feed from behind, left side of the net, flings it right up to Bergie. Bergie just easy, just flip it in the glove side. Wedgwood doesn't have a chance. The defense doesn't have a chance. Everyone's looking around like, what the fuck? I'm telling you, first and second line, anything you can do, I can do better. It's just, if this team continues to play this way in the playoffs too, just watching those two lines get rolled out, and a team survives the first line, and then the second line comes out and they're like, come on! We're having fun now, aren't we? Right? We're having fun now. 2-0. We are 20 minutes from a confirmed playoff spot, not to mention the Rangers are tied at the time with the Capitals, and we are out shooting the New Jersey Devils 37-9. I love that our team came out and went, we don't want this to become a thing. You never want to lose that game where you could have clinched a playoff spot, even though you have 5 more. You just don't want the narrative to start of like, oh shit. And if you lose a second game, then the pressure builds. And you go, we're not going to lose 6 straight, right? You just don't want it to even be an option. So you come out hard and you finish the narrative. And that's what they did all game long. 7 minutes into the third, Zaboral gets creamed. Full numbers with a good amount of speed. It ended up being a 2-minute boarding penalty. I honestly think it could have been a major, but Zaboral was okay. He went down the tunnel, came back up. He was fine. It didn't... Look, this was not an intentional dirty play. It was a bad hit. Those happen. Clifton just immediately drops the gloves, goes for Greer, who laid the hit. Nice little Tilly, nothing crazy. I don't really see a clear winner in it, but you stuck up for your teammate, especially a young one. We're good. We're going to move on. Now, late in the game, we will get another. It's a clean entrance by Bergie, as usual. He dishes down to Marshy at the bottom left. Marshy will throw it back up to Grizz. And Grizz steps into a bomb. I love seeing defensemen step into the shot. Usually those miss the net high, but steps into it, absolute howitzer. And who does it go off into the net? Murray. Just a brutal game for Murray. Sorry, bud. But that will be 3-0, your final score. And we're going to the playoffs, baby. What's even funnier, according to MoneyPuck.com, the only line we had out of our 4 main lines, not the random collection, right, when they're doing changes, but out of the 4 main lines, the only line we had with negative goal scoring chances, meaning they gave up more expected goals than they created, was our second line. And visually, you'd actually have a hard time saying that. You'd be like, there's no way. But you go back and look and go, okay, they had a couple chances. They were the only ones in negative expected goals. Just a dominant win. And I want to point out, game notes, the thing that I mentioned about Zaboral, he's added physicality. Someone's in his ear talking like, look, man, it's fine if you want to be the skill guy. You have a lot of upside, and you got to work on your decision making a little bit. But there was more physicality this game. Someone said, you got to hit them. You have to take the body at times. Notice Grizz. Grizz doesn't lay big hits more often than not, but he uses his body. He gets low, he gets under players, and he gives himself the advantage in the physical battle. That's how Grizz is still able to survive the board battles. That's what Zaboral needs to learn. And he's got great people to learn it from. He is learning it. And next year we might see a really different version of him that I'm very excited about. I still think he's the odd man out come playoffs, but I like the cut of his jib. I said it before, overall better effort from Jakey. I like what he's building towards, and I'm okay with him slowly building game by game. I'm super okay with that. He just needs to remember that it's about the team, and I think he's going to be way better. I think he has to stop putting so much pressure on his individual plays. Because if he's playing on the fourth line especially, Cassidy's going to sit there and go, that line played very well. You're staying on the ice. I think he got like 16 minutes of ice time. That's very good. So we're going to be fine there. He needs to build. And he's clearly putting in the effort to build. There's still a little bit of, dude, you need to get in there. But it'll come, hopefully. Shutty by Rask. It's only 20 saves, but he had 2 or 3 really big ones when the game was still only a 2-goal game. So we're going to give him credit where credit is due. You want these type of performances going into the playoffs. We like to see it. We like to see it. Okay, lastly, now I'm going to do a whole video on matchups once matchups are confirmed. But who do we want to play, guys? Seriously, who do we want to play? Who do you guys want to see first round? Islanders are going through a little bit of a tough slump, so maybe that's your answer. Capitals might be missing Tom Wilson and maybe Ovechkin, who's still got a nagging injury. That could be an answer, especially with their weaker goaltending than the other two. Penguins, I don't think is anyone's answer. We've played them really well this season, but you want to talk about, ignore last night with the Flyers game, but you want to talk about a team hitting their stride and getting production from everywhere. I don't really know if I want to hit them first, but we'll see what happens. Right now, it's Islanders, right? You kind of want to face the Islanders, even though they've owned us all season. Our scoring has gotten a lot better, which was our issue against them, and they're really struggling right now. Maybe that's your answer. That's probably mine for now, but we'll get more into that as we go. All right, guys, it does it for me. Like, comment, subscribe. I should really be saying that in the beginning of the video, but whatever. I will say the video for Tuesday's game might come out a little late. I try to get these done in the morning if possible, but on Wednesday I do have an MRI. Don't worry about any of that. Didn't even need to tell you that, guys. Nothing crazy is going on. Don't worry about it. But I have one in the morning, and God knows how long that's going to take. That's not going to be fun. But the video will come out Wednesday. It just might be later in the day. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I have an erratic schedule as is, as you guys know. They just kind of pop up, and you go, oh, cool. Click. And then you like it, and then you comment on it. God, I love the comments. Anyone who frequently comments, even if I don't always respond or whatever, I read the comments, and I really just, I can't tell you how much it means to be able to have that conversation, even if I'm not always responding. It's just so fun. And just thanks, guys. Seriously, thanks. But anyway, I'm done. I'm ready for the playoffs, man. I'm ready. Couple more games to get Carlo in shape, and we got our full team. That's it. That is it. Time for a cup run, baby. Time for